Hey there. You don't know me, I don't know you, but I think we have something in common. We can very clearly see that this is not working. If things continue as they are, this Congress will get just about nothing done in the next 2 years. Democrats will get thrashed in 2022. No competition, nothing they can do about that, and that'll be it. The reason why? Democrats have a bare bones majority, 50 in the Senate, 50-50, and the vice president, and nothing can get passed because of the wonderful thing called the filibuster. Now, if you don't know about the filibuster, just real quick, when the Senate wants to consider any legislation, most legislation, there's a few little exceptions, including some that have been made very recently, like the Supreme Court justice appointments. But when they want to consider something, they're going to need 60 senators to get past debate. The filibuster basically means you don't want to get past that debate. You're saying you want to keep it in debate. You don't want it to get anywhere past there. And it would take 60 senators to vote to go past there. So the problem is we have a Senate that's completely divided. Completely divided. You're never going to get 60 senators to agree to go past debate on most things. Reconciliation is like one of the few things that doesn't require that 60 votes. And it's why Democrats are able to get something done right now. It's this giant budget bill, so just a simple majority is enough to go forward with it. Just moments ago, while I'm recording this, just moments ago, Vice President Harris just allowed them to continue considering it on a just 51 vote. Really, really easy, just like that. But for more important things, like what we're going to need for raising the minimum wage or passing this new voting rights bill or the vast majority of everything that the Democrats ran on in 2020 going into the 2021 Georgia special elections, to get any of that passed, we're going to need to get past the filibuster. And a lot of people are suggesting, let's just get rid of the filibuster. Republicans don't want to play ball at all. Senate Republicans don't want to play ball at all with a bunch of legislation that's popular with a lot of the country. I mean, you have like legalizing marijuana and the freedoms that come with that for people that have been incarcerated because of that in the past. Those people, the people that support that, it's like 60 to 70% of the country. So it's weird that we're standing behind a wall of the Republicans preventing that kind of stuff from getting passed. Same thing with even getting the stimulus checks higher than they are. It's trapped behind people like Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. I don't want to throw shade at these people, or at least mostly I don't want to throw shade at Joe Manchin, because Joe Manchin is a little bit more liberal than his own constituency, even if that's not saying much. He does vote a little bit more with a little bit farther to the left of what his constituency actually wants him to vote for. He's not super popular still. I just saw something that said he was like 4% popular with his own state, or I'm not sure if that was his own state or Democrats in general. I would definitely believe it if it's Democrats in general, considering he keeps getting reelected in his state, and they're more conservative in West Virginia. But the main thing it all comes down to is Joe Manchin is voting as far left as he can, and he has always been big on the filibuster. Ending the filibuster is a traditionalist guy that he is, and traditionalist that Kirsten Sinema is as well. Both of these people, this wasn't an ad before, both of these people are voting to be traditionalists. Even though that might backfire purely because we need these these voter rights bills. We need a lot of these things passed in this Congress now, while we have the chance. Who knows when that chance could come again? And everyone's just shouting at Manchin and Sinema. Perhaps Mark Kelly too. We don't really know, but I think Mark Kelly's on board. Everyone's shouting at these two for not being able to get this done. We got to remember they're a part of this caucus, and a good political party is one that's diverse. I'm a progressive, and seeing these two in the party it's kind of unfair. But a party's not supposed to be this homogenous mind. It's not supposed to be this one hive mind kind of thing. There are supposed to be different thoughts going on. And that said, they aren't fully opposed to some kind of filibuster. And it's the kind of thing that some kind of filibuster reform that not enough people are talking about. Now, yes, these two are not going to vote to end the filibuster. That's what's in this article. That's what's in this article. That's what's in a ton of articles. If you just search Joe Manchin filibuster, Kyrsten Sinema filibuster, either of these two things, you're going to quickly figure out that it's just not happening. There's no way to push them. Joe Manchin, especially in 10 years ago, 2011, held the same position that he would never end the filibuster. However, he did support something. So, for those that don't know, before the filibuster was what it is today, before the filibuster just meant, hey, I'm going to filibuster this, and that's it. There's nothing you could do about it. You used to have to stand up and actually do something to show that you wanted to filibuster. You had to physically stand up, take the stage. You needed to actually speak and debate. This time for filibustering meant you had to jump on the Senate floor and debate and talk through this situation, talk through these problems. The reason why this all stopped some time ago, and I think I should have had this open already, but we're going to open that too. The reason why this all stopped is because of a guy named J. Strom Thurmond. And we're going to open that up real quick. I can't believe I didn't have this open already because I knew I was going to talk about this as well. But J. Strom Thurmond, I like to think of this guy as the Mitch McConnell before our current age. And in 1957, in the 50s, he did the longest speaking filibuster ever by a single person. That was 24 hours, 18 minutes. And that was for the Civil Rights Act. And so a lot of people will say, the filibuster, all it's been used for ever is to filibuster progressive things. And that's not false. It was also used in 64 by Robert Byrd to filibuster for, I think it was like 17 or 18 hours. And again, both of these were just trying to improve the situation, improve civil rights for people, and even improve voting rights for people. So we're talking about basically the same situation that we were in, about 50 years ago. Same thing. And so the filibuster is terrible, but we can't get rid of it. What do we do to get out of here? Do we just go back to the speaking one because it was slightly better, and eventually, they had to stop talking and you could continue with debate? I don't know, because with the Civil Rights Act, with that one, it still, with both of these, it still took a long time to get them passed because there were a lot of people that were filibustering. So it's not just 24 hours, one senator talks and that's it. It's one talks and then maybe a bunch of other senators follow up with their own debate. And so you can have legislation stuck in this debate stage for days and days. One of these two was stuck for like 54 days. So the right answer is bringing it back to that speaking, but with that speaking filibuster, but with one little provision. Oftentimes, when these guys were debating about nonsense, when these guys were debating on these acts and filibustering them, they were talking about nonsense. This man here, the decided to, I think, want to read out a cookbook. A cookbook was part of his 24 hours and 18 minutes. That's ridiculous. You should have to talk about the topic at hand. I think, given the fact that this was used, and by other senators as well, just talking about complete nonsense, and you can even see stuff like this in the Stackhouse filibuster in that one episode of West Wing, definitely based on what Thurman did here. If you revert back to the speaking filibuster, tell people, hey, you got to be on topic, or the Senate Pro Tem can just literally skip you. That's it. You're done. We're moving on because you're not staying on topic. You switch back to that, put on that provision, you have a little bit more bulletproof filibuster. Not entirely bulletproof. It's like you got the vest on the entire front of your body, but maybe the back's still not covered here. Because of course there are still ways to debate and go for a long time. Today, Ron Johnson is going to start reading out the entire America Rescue Plan. That'll take over 10 hours, according to what I just saw. Over 10 hours to do. That's not good. And there's nothing saying that they wouldn't be able to do the same unless you had a similar provision where they couldn't read out the whole text of the bill, only like excerpts when they need to. But if you kept it relevant, you force them to stand as they used to, you force them to actually physically filibuster. I think there are real things that can get done here, because with this version of the filibuster, once there aren't enough people to just continue with the filibuster, that's kind of it. The pro tem is able to just continue, or presiding officer, whoever it is able to just continue. That's what this bill was. Resolution was 10 years ago, from the 112th Congress, January 27, 2011. The reason I bring this up, that they tried to vote on this, they only got 44 people that agreed to it, is that one of those 44 people was Joe Manchin. I can't go back and prove that Kyrsten Sinema would vote for this, but she is a traditionalist as well, and this is the traditional form of the filibuster. The reason they're against removing the filibuster is because they want this period of being able to debate. And right now, it's not really a period of being able to debate so much as just telling you, hey, I don't like it, that's it. Compromise with me. Even though there is really no compromising point. So you had Manchin that agreed with this. Manchin voted for this. Manchin, I'm pretty sure, co-sponsored this resolution. It failed, but he co-sponsored this. So he's in support of it, because he wanted this. He was he is really one of the co-sponsors. 10 years ago, most of these senators aren't even senators anymore. But we already know most of the Senate Democrats would vote for ending the filibuster. You haven't really heard many more outstanding voices besides these two. So if you bring this up, you have Joe Manchin on board. I think even though Senator Sinema is a little bit more conservative than her constituency, I think she would agree to this just as well as Manchin would. And it will get a little bit more done. There will be time where the senators run out of people that can talk and filibuster. Even in the worst of times, they were only able to go like 54 days way back when with the speaking filibuster, when you could be irrelevant and there was no punishment. So think about this. We could legitimately see a higher minimum wage. Now, who knows what that would be? Democrats want $15. Joe Manchin is saying $11. It's really probable that even doing this reformation means that we wouldn't get 15, maybe 11, 12, 13 at most, and maybe sooner, though, like 2023 rather than 2025. But it would be an improvement. There would be something that Democrats would have that's tangible beyond just this one bill in March 2021 to say that they did. I'm sure he would be on board with the legalization of weed. And if they succeed, if they can do at least a lot of their promises, if they can fulfill some of those, legalization of weed, this new voter rights bill, this some kind of higher minimum wage, I think we're talking real success here. More than the Republicans did in their time with a trifecta, 2016 to 2018, when they had, the presidency, when they had the Senate, and when they had the House. We're talking more control. More that the Democrats would have done in these 2 years than Republicans did back then, and definitely way more good. Just with this reconciliation bill, we're talking about more good than the 2017 tax cuts. Like, this is already way more than that. Think about how much more they can do and how much more they can lean on. Republicans are putting themselves in a terrible place already by standing up against something that the vast majority of people support. That just needs to be rammed home. So this is all my reasoning why I think we need to really start talking about not ending the filibuster, as much as everyone would love for that to happen, but reforming the filibuster. That is doable. We reform the filibuster, get some of this stuff done. 2022, we can pick up seats. We can pick up maybe Wisconsin from Ron Johnson, who keeps putting his foot in his mouth. We can pick up seats, maybe not Texas, what is it? Missouri from Roy Blunt. It's important to remember, Roy Blunt lost in 2016. In Trump's year, he won only by a plurality. He won by 3 points, but he was still at 49%. If all of the other votes had gone for just a Democrat, and I'm going to bring that up too, because that's just mildly important. 2022 is a winnable year in terms of, picking up seats in the Senate. I don't know so much about the House. Redistricting is in Republican control, so who knows if that'll actually be able to happen. But at the very least, the Senate will be something that we could pick up. And I think I'll close on this, but 2016, this guy actually got less votes than he did in 2010. Look at this, 54%. And then you look at 2016, 49.18%. If all these votes together, 46.3, 2.4, 1.1, you put those all together, this is something like almost 49.7, 49.8. We're talking real movement at that point. Matter of fact, it's almost 49.9. So if these had all been combined into here, maybe the Constitution went more for Blunt. We're talking about a win in Missouri. This guy has been trending downward. This shouldn't be a seat that we count out. Little bit of successes, combined with the fact that Josh Hawley does not look good on Missouri any more than Roy Blunt does, can get victories in the Senate. I want to talk about this a little bit more. I want to keep hammering home that we need to work on reforming the filibuster before we can get to ending the filibuster. But this is the necessary step that no one's talking about. There was a WAPO article on it, a Washington Post article on it, but I couldn't get past the paywall, and for some reason it doesn't even let me pay for Washington Post or New York Times. Like, I've tried to subscribe and they have little issues. Both times I've tried to do it, so I can't even get past the paywall if I wanted to, and I do want to. They had an article kind of on that, and I saw another place, I think the American Prospect, which is a little tinier paper, talking about this. But this needs to be out there. Ending the filibuster is just not possible. The votes just aren't there. But for this, there is another path forward. And if it's not taken, then it's just, we're talking about giving up before the battle's even started. Might as well count 2022 out now, 2024 out after that. After we fail this, who's going to go, oh, Democrats can save us? It's weird the way that works. Republicans obstruct. And then they get votes for it. Fun. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this little talk, please sound off. Let me know. Drop a little like. Share it with your friends, because that's the most important thing. I do want people to know that reforming the filibuster is an option. Ending it would be wonderful, but we've got two conservative Democrats, and that's a part of our caucus. We shouldn't keep trashing them for sticking to their convictions, even though this is kind of the wrong timing for it. There's another path forward. There is definitely another path forward. So if you agree with me, let me know. But beyond that, take it easy.